Thanks, that was wonderful. And, oops. Now we're going to have Kill Rose. No. Jackie Hyra to read the fourth direction. Thank you, Joseph. The seconds as the prompt.
Let's see. The heart knows. Connect to the divine within and access the power of your heart. Its wisdom and grace will guide, comfort, uplift, and inspire you to be who you have come here to be. Can you hear me?
A little bit.
You can be closer to the mic.
Oh. Please stand and face east. East is air, the breath of life, rebirth, and springtime. East is where the sun rises every morning. It represents inspiration, new ideas, psychic abilities, and intuition. Its colors are white, yellow, crimson, blue, white, and pastels. Some of its animals are the eagle and the hawk. It is new love and joyous new beginnings. Please take a deep breath, and as you exhale, turn to your right. South is fire. It is the energy and fire of the sun. It is the spirit of life and can heal and purify. South is summer. It represents growth, fertility, gentleness, warmth, and good friendship. Its color is red. Its animals are desert animals like reptiles and salamanders, and also fire animals like dragons and horses. Please take a deep breath. And as you exhale, turn to your right. Facing west, west is water. It represents emotions of love, courage, and daring, as well as the unconscious, the womb, and fertility. As it flows, it represents the changes life constantly brings. It is the cleansing of rain, the excitement of a river, and the passion of the sea. It is where the sun goes down each evening. We thank the West for the changes, transformations, and new ideas that come into our lives. Blue and aqua are its colors. Its animals are dolphins, whales, fish, sea serpents, seabirds, and all other sea creatures. Please take a deep breath, and as you exhale, turn to your right. Facing north, north is earth. It is the stable home to return to. It is winter and gives us the strength and power to bear what is cold and harsh in life. It is going within to find your own strength and connections with spirit. It is the body, growth, money, creativity, birth and death. Its color is white. It is mountains, valleys, precious stones, salt, and crystals. It is nourishment and sustenance. Its animals are the stag, bison, and forest animals. Please take a deep breath and turn to face the center aisle or face your screen. Close your eyes, put your hands over your heart, and feel the presence of these elements within, honoring each as an element of spirit. Now, open your eyes and take a moment. As you see with the eyes of God, see God looking back at you. Namaste.
Oh, shoot.
County Avenue. I don't know what that means to you, Liz, but her talk titles always are interesting. We'll see what she's going to talk about. But I found something that I've learned that it really doesn't matter what I read. It sort of works. Oh, by the way, I'm Carol Rose. I'm a practitioner here at the Everyday Center, for those of you who don't know that. Okay, so all the promises we make from the cradle to the grave, when all I want is you. Bruce Springsteen. We imagine that so many conditions are prerequisite to finding love, when all that is required is that, like a man stepping from a boat to a dock, we step over the small gap that exists between us. Often there is nothing to prepare for, nothing to set up in advance, just to step over what separates us and to land in what is before us. But giving in to our fears, we widen the gap by creating conditions that must be filled before stepping toward another. This is how we invest in the building of credentials and lifestyles and bank accounts that are often distractions from the simple and essential need to be held.
Well, not since
In this way, we move up and down and around, but seldom straight into what will give us love. To know love, we must do more than understand. We must land and enter. Before we step, the gap to others seems like a canyon. But stepping anyway, the separations we move through look so much smaller once crossed. Often the thing feared, once crossed, turns out to be an unexpected bridge from which we can see who we were and who we are becoming. And this is from the Book of Awakening by Mark Nippo.
Nice.
Thank
you.
And I didn't really prepare an affirmation, so we'll just see what comes out.
Perfect.
I step through the gap to connect with the people on the other side in love.
Yay.
I step through the gap to connect with the people on the other side
In love.
And so it is.
Yay.
Thank you, Carol. Good morning, I'm Joseph Salek, and this morning I'd love to I'm pleased and delighted to introduce Charly Drobeck, a wonderful flutist. She and I have known each other since the mid-'80s and have played together off and on, but it's been a long time. We ran into each other recently, and I'm delighted to be introducing her to you this morning. Charly has been a long-time member of the Santa Fe Pro Musica and has taught flute here in Santa Fe for many, many, many years. She is currently open to working with people who want to learn flute or improvise. So please join me in welcoming Charly Drobeck. This morning we're going to start with a wonderful song by a jazz pianist named Horace Silver. This is called A Song for My Father, and so we're just honoring all the fathers this morning for Father's Day.
Yay.
Very good.
I had my eyes closed and I was all into it. Joseph, before I lose you, can you lower this a little bit for me, please? Oh, sure. Or you can turn that.
Yeah, right.
For just now. I told you this was going to be a very creative service. I think that's good, huh? You think so?
I think that's good.
Okay. Good morning, every day.
Good morning.
Oh, what a beautiful day this is. Oh my goodness. I looked out at the mountains and the sky this morning, and I thought to myself, what an incredible blessing to start the day with. Just the expanse of it all, and I don't know about anybody else, but I have rose bushes that are twice the size they've ever been before this year.
Yes, yes, yes.
They've just gone,
Yep.
whoa!
Yep.
And it's just so fun
Yeah.
to see everything green and growing and healthy and knowing that it's all being so well fed. And speaking of feeding, I am your feeder for this morning, and I am Reverend Ann Ray, and I am the senior minister for the Everyday Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Fe, New Mexico, in case you've forgotten where you are.
Woo.
So, on the avenue. So every once in a while, I have this thing happen where, because I do my talk titles, in advance, way in advance. And I have this thing happen where it'll just, one right after another will come to me, and they're all songs. So, I put it down the way it's given to me. I just, the download came that way, so that's the way I write it down. And if you want to tip the top of the computer a little more this way, that's great. So I just write it down, and then I figure out later what I'm going to do with it. And I was thinking, well, there are places that don't even have avenues. And there are places that if it's an avenue, it tells you that you're traveling in a certain direction because the town or the city or whatever is laid out like a grid. And there are places where all it is a song title. And then coming upon Father's Day, which is a very special day, not just for people who are dads, but people who are mothers and dads,
Mm.
or people who are mothers who fill that role, or do the best to fill that role. And of course, we're, any of us who are in this room today, and I would just venture out a wild guess that anybody who's driving around, or anybody who's walking around town, or anybody who's doing anything at all today that includes breathing, is grateful they had a dad.
Mhm.
Because they wouldn't be doing any of those things if they didn't. And it's about, I believe that when we get to this point in our evolution, it isn't about the quality of parenting we had anymore. We may have some stuff still rolling around about that, but the real thing to notice is that we're here. And that is not an accident.
Mhm.
That is not an accident. That is not something that that just, sort of showed up in the life of these two people who were maybe not ready to be adults. Who knew? We are here, and we are here on purpose, and we are here for a purpose. And this life that we embody, this life that is what we reveal, whether we're doing the dishes, or on the phone with a friend, or we can't figure out how to get Facebook to work, or whatever it is that we're doing, we are embodying that life. We are revealing that life all the time. And there's nothing casual about it. Now, when we're washing the dishes or the clothes or whatever the case may be, we may feel, well, that's no big deal. It's just a thing I do. Were we to take a moment to realize that these hands that are in the soapy water are rinsing the dishes to go into a dishwasher that we never had before, these are the hands of life itself in action. Often when I'm teaching a class and we're talking about meditation, particularly when it's, but not exclusively, when it's a class of people who are primarily new to the philosophy, I try to give them every single thing they can think of as an opportunity to meditate. Dishes is a great way. Because you're doing something you're used to doing, right? So you don't have to think about doing it. And the key to that is our mind isn't busy. Our mind is just, I happen to work in this direction, other people happen to, but you can tell I work in this direction. our mind is otherwise occupied. It isn't filling us with all kinds of ideas and worries and concerns and questions. We're just doing the dishes. We're just sorting the laundry. At least I am. I know that some people think that's strange, but anyway. So the point is that there is nothing that doesn't have purpose, that isn't an opportunity. How many of you have pets? How many of you spend time with your pets? Whether it's cats or dogs, birds, we all spend time with our pets. Well, I spend time with our cats if they'll let me. They're actually Denise's cats. And they announced that about 5 minutes after they moved in. It happens. But I notice when I spend time with one of the cats, all I'm thinking about is my connection with the cat. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just totally absorbed in that moment. And so it is of enormous benefit. You know, I talk frequently about how important it is for us to make self-loving choices, don't I?
Yeah.
And self-loving choices are about taking care of this and making this a priority.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can everybody go like this?
Yeah.
Making this a priority because we are a reflection of, an embodiment of life itself.
Yeah.
And if we don't take care of this, then how good a job do you think we're going to do at anything? Many of us were brought up understanding that it was more important to give than to receive. It was more important. I can see you, Patricia, but I can only barely see you. It was more important to always be selfless in our recognition of what someone else might need. And I'm not saying that there isn't a quality there, a divine quality there that deserves recognition. What I am saying is if we don't take care of this, there is nothing to give from. And now that we are at a point in our lives where, so far as I know, the people who are in the room that I know well, you don't have anyone taking care of you that I know of. You're all taking care of yourselves. How you doing with that?
Good.
That's the right answer. Because then we do have something to give. Then we have energy to give, and we have a smile to give, and we have support to give, and we have encouragement to give, and all of those things are sapped when we don't do things to feed this. Now, showing up today, that's why I said I'm your food today. I'm your feeder.
You're always our food.
Thank you, Patty. This ridiculously amazing and fabulous life, even though not every single moment of every single person's life in this room or elsewhere has been ridiculously amazing or fabulous in their opinion. All the while, it was being ridiculously amazing and fabulous. I read something the other day that reminded me that all the while when we are preoccupied with concerns or worries or discomfort about something, that the whole of life the whole of life is right here, is right here, is right there, is right where we are, waiting for us to turn the thing over, hand the thing over that we think there isn't a solution for. Hand the thing over that we think, no, there's not only can this not be fixed, I don't know where I'm going to get the resources to even manage what I need to do from there, etc., etc., etc. We have lots of blah blah, etceteras. And every single one is forgetting, not in our brain, but in our being, forgetting our source. Forgetting that our source has the answers to what seems impossible, has the answers to what seems incurable, has the answers to what seems ridiculous, has the answers to what seems like it's too much for us to even begin to take on. It isn't ours to take on if it feels like it's too much. That's our first clue. We are partnered in every moment by this life that absolutely cannot wait to provide whatever it is that we need. And I know that the question is coming up, at least in one person's mind, well then how come whatever the situation is that is crossing your mind, how come they don't have what they need? From my perspective, how come they don't have what they need? It's the same reason we don't. Because we don't believe we can.
Yes.
We don't believe it's available. We don't believe that we can rely on this life that provides the very air we breathe. You know, we're so busy thinking that as humans that we're exceptional. Well, I'm exceptional. I don't know about you. But we're so busy thinking that we're exceptional. Is that what we want to be? We want to be the model the example, the living, breathing, walking, talking, working, contributing example of what life truly is. At least I think that's what we want to be. That's what this philosophy encourages us to know that we already are. We already are what we seek. We already are the receptor for and the transmitter and all of the other words that Stephen could fill in. We're already that. But we're so busy doubting ourselves and others. You know, the reading that Carol chose for today is exquisite because that bridge is an avenue. It's an avenue to relation. It's an avenue to love. It's an avenue to kindness. It's an avenue to grace. And what is required is not that we go off on some crazy adventure to find it. It's that we take the next step towards what it is that we want to be. One step. We can only take one step at a time anyway. One step. And so what if, I believe the phrasing in the book was, or maybe it was the phrasing of your affirmation, the people on the other side don't come towards us. We're stepping towards them. But what if they don't come towards us? Well, so what?
Yes.
So what? If I'm going to stand here and I'm going to say, well, you know, I'll step towards you if you'll step towards me. And then if you step towards me, then I'll take another step towards you. And then we'll see how it goes. We could be here all day. I'm not talking about walking up to strangers and throwing our arms around them. I'm just talking about having a greeter's heart. Having that openness in our being where we welcome. And people look at us, and I'm going to tell you a story on myself, and it might sound like I'm bragging, but I'm not. I cannot tell you how many people I encounter on the street, in a restaurant, wherever I am, who say hello to me like they've known me forever. And I don't know them. But I am so excited to say hello to everyone. I can't contain it. It just kind of oozes out.
It bubbles.
Bubbles. Oh, good. I like those. I like bubbles. Did I tell you the story about the bubbles?
Not yet.
Oh, this happened a long time ago. I had a convertible. And I had waited a long time to have this convertible. And so I drove the convertible with the top down as long as it wasn't raining. It could be cold, but all that required was heat. So Denise and I were on our way to, I don't know where, and we were stopped at a stop sign. Oh, and I always kept bubbles in the car.
That's a great idea.
I always kept bubbles in the car. And Denise and I were on our way to somewhere, and we were stopped at a stop sign. And there was this great big honking semi next to us, stopped at the intersection. And so Denise started blowing bubbles at him. It was a male driver, at him. He wouldn't even turn his head. It was like, what are these crazy people doing that they're blowing bubbles at me? Can you imagine? How cool to
Yeah.
have somebody blowing bubbles at me.
Yeah.
It's different perspectives, right? Totally different perspectives. But we laughed about that for a really long time. We have work to do. We have work to do. Now that our lives are pretty much up to us, what's next? What's the next step that we can take towards showing kindness to someone? What's the next step that we can take towards supporting the Everyday Center? What's the next step that we can take towards showing the world, and I mean this so literally, I can barely get the words out. Showing the world that there really is reason to be happy.
Yeah. Yay.
All right.
Yeah.
There really is.
We need more dancing.
More dancing,
We're singing.
Laughter.
all of it.
Yes.
Times 10, times 10,
Yeah.
times 10. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you. I'm gonna get some bubbles with my car.
Oh, having bubbles in your car is the best.
Yeah.
I still have bubbles in my car.
So we're going to share a song now called by a Brazilian man named Iberto Gismonte. The song is called Palhaço, and it's the translation. I don't speak Portuguese, but I believe it's clown.
Oh.